Kundalini, when it awakens, produces this almost psychedelic-like effect on the consciousness. It allows you to see the energetic pathways, and it allows you to see the energy that governs the physical dimension, the material world. It allows you to reveal the secrets of the darkness around us. Now, what I mean by the darkness is that if you flicked a light off right now and it's pitch black, you can't see anything. In the same way, there's darkness around us on a metaphoric level, because we're actually walking around this dimension and we can see things. We can see street signs and poles and fences and people and trees and shrubs and bushes and birds and animals, you name it. But that does not make up everything that on the energetic spectrum and the color spectrum. There's so much stuff around us that we don't see that it would blow the average person's mind. And that's why Kundalini, in my opinion, one of the reasons, it's infinitely fascinating, but one of the most fascinating things to me about Kundalini is that it allows you to actually enlighten the eyes to such an extent, the optic nerves, where you can actually start absorbing more of the color spectrum. You can bear witness to the truth. And let's face it, if you're living in a world where you can only see 1% or less of the reality that you live in, you can't see any of the etheric stuff, fourth dimensional overlapping, you name it, the energetic patterns that create matter. If you can't see that, you're not living in the truth. You're living in a falsehood, because you can only see 1% of what you were designed to see. Kundalini enlightens us to the point where we can see the rest of it. And it's beautiful. It's magnificent. It's almost frightening, because it shows you how shut off you are. It shows you how much of a slave species we've become, the formulation of a slave species. Now, when you take someone who's designed to see 100% of the color spectrum, the energy spectrum, you name it, and you reduce that ability for them to see to 1%, and they're seeing just through a narrow, tiny little lens, they're easily controllable. Especially when you don't provide the people who are seeing through that little lens with the ability to even contemplate the idea that they may have a bigger reality that they've been shut off from. So if you take someone with a real high IQ and reduce it down to the just tiniest little IQ measurement, by dumbing them down, you name it, they now can only operate on a small percentage of their intelligence. Now, that's a metaphor for what I'm trying to explain here in terms of the color spectrum, the energetic spectrum, the particle, molecular spectrum, subatomic spectrum, you name it. Complicated subject. And I am in no way, shape, or form well versed in it. I've just experienced it, and because of that, I'm trying to do my best with what little I know to educate people, because I think that the greatest way to actually evolve the species is through Kundalini, because Kundalini and enlightenment are the same thing, and enlightenment is evolution. While you have your eyes closed and you're receiving the sunlight, as you're standing barefoot, look at diet, you've got to look at water. The water people are drinking here in the Matrix, the tap water, is filled full of disinfectant byproducts, cancer-causing agents, fluoride, hydrofluorosilicic acid, hexafluorosilicic acid, pipe residues, inorganic compounds, scaling lime, algicides, cobalts, radioactive constituents, plutonium, parasites. Some of the wastes that are stuck inside of the colonic walls in the lower bowel. So certain eye muscle exercises where you move your eyes in certain direct current energy. So walking barefoot is one of the pinnacle aspects, other than things like collecting rainwater. We can be our own farmers and grow a lot of our own food, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to resort to buying murdered animals from corrupt organizations and things of that nature. We don't have to consume these foods to have a healthy lifestyle. My health has gone nowhere but up since I became a vegan. Authentic Kundalini awakenings actually stimulate dormant parts of your brain and your physiology, your spinal system, your cerebrospinal fluid, you name it. And when that happens, it just enlightens the gland. The goji berries in it and the schisandra. But I also talk later on in this video about how damaging constituents, and these constituents are known as accumulative poisons. They accumulate over time and they get lodged in your tissues. They get lodged in your kidneys, your liver, you name it.